The much anticipated Garmin Venu 3 smartwatch has been on my wrist for about a couple weeks now, and I have good things to say about it, but there are a couple things that I'm not very happy with that you must know before buying this watch. The diameter of the watch is 45 millimeters, so that right away puts it amongst the larger sized smartwatches, but because the depth or height of the watch is only 12 millimeters, it's still in the category of lifestyle smartwatches, which means you can almost wear it for any occasion quite comfortably. Of course, if your wrist size is less than 150 millimeters, then the Venu 3S is probably the right choice for you. Although even if the size of your wrist is as low as 135 millimeters, it still fits, but probably not best looking. The diameter of the display itself is 1.4 inches or 35.4 millimeters, which is big enough for a smartwatch. Of course, there's still a big bezel, but it doesn't bother me, and I don't even notice it most of the time because, like I said, at least the size of the display is good, and the screen has Gorilla Glass 3, so there is no sapphire version. And most of the case is made of fiber reinforced polymer, which is just a kind of plastic that Garmin has been increasingly using even on their more expensive watches. Of course, this in turn makes the watch more lightweight and possibly more comfortable, but it takes some of the premium feel away from it. And the case without the band weighs 30 grams, and with the 22 millimeter silicone band that comes with it, it's 47 grams. Now, as you can see, there's a charging plug at the bottom of the case. This has been going on for years, and it's a really awkward way of charging your watch, and I reckon it's time Garmin changed this to wireless charging. But for the time being, if you don't like to charge your watch upside down, check out the link in the description to the charger of my choice that fixes this problem. In terms of comfort, I've been wearing it long enough to know that it is indeed one of the most comfortable Garmin watches. Some folks might be allergic to the silicone band, which can be replaced by another type of band, but other than that, it's an A+ in terms of comfort. But I wish the entire back of the case was made of stainless steel instead of plastic, and I doubt it would have made much of a difference in terms of weight and comfort. The next thing I'm not very happy with is the buttons. So there are 3 physical buttons on this watch, but for some reason the bottom button is very mushy, the middle one is a little clicky, and the top one is the most clicky one. I have no idea if this is a defect or it's been designed like this by choice. So if you happen to have this watch, definitely comment below and let me know. If this is how it was intentionally designed, it's a poor, nonsensical design choice. Very annoying. In fact, the more time I spend using this watch, the more annoying it gets. So I really hope it's just the unit that I have and yours doesn't have this problem. Now let's talk about some of the features of this watch. Let's start with my favorite, which is body battery. So as far as I know, all Garmin watches have the body battery feature, which is supposed to give you an indication of how much energy you have overall, and it can go as high as 100 and as low as 5, so it never goes to 0. The most important factor that affects this metric is your stress level, and since rightfully so, resting and sleeping are what lower our stress level, they are ultimately our tools to recharge our battery. The stress management itself is also another great feature of this watch. I like the stress level indicator on Garmin watches more than any other way it's been done on other brands. Now, if I go to the glance view, I can see my stress level live, but if I tap it, then I can see the changes since midnight. If I swipe up, I can see the stress index for today so far, the higher the worse, and also for how long I've been having low, medium, and high stress levels. And if I swipe one more time, I can see the stress chart for the past 7 days. Swiping it one more time allows me to take action and do some breath work to get into a meditative state and possibly lower my stress level. If you really focus on your breathing and calm yourself down after your breathing exercise, it even shows you how much you changed your current stress level. And in my experience, the longer the session is, the more impactful it is. But if I go back to the glance view, I can see many things well at a glance, but what caught my attention were a few great new features. The first one is the HRV status that people have been asking Garmin to add. It's something we typically only see on their more expensive watches, but now we get to have this essential feature on the Venu 3. So what is HRV status and why is that an important metric to monitor? So HRV, or heart rate variability, refers to variations between successive heartbeats. Typically, a higher HRV indicates better well-being and overall health, although exercising can temporarily lower that, but that's actually beneficial. The Venu 3 will show you your 7-day average HRV, a baseline range, your HRV from the night before, and a line chart of the changes during your sleep. On a daily basis, you pretty much only need to know whether your HRV is balanced or not. If not, you probably need to take it easy and focus on better rest and recovery. And as you can see, it's really easy to spot this on the watch at a glance. The next new feature you might not know about is related to the body battery. So before Venu 3, you could only see how much your body battery was charged during sleep at night, but not at other times unless you were paying close attention to the body battery level. But now every time you have a short rest period, you can see exactly how much that increases your body battery. So that means sleeping, resting, and napping. And that brings us to the next new feature, which is nap tracking, something I hadn't seen in any other Garmin watches before this one. Unfortunately, I haven't had any naps during these couple weeks to test this feature out, but as far as sleep tracking itself goes, it does a good job, and I find it almost reliable and good enough to wear every night to bed. They've also added a sleep coach feature, which is actually very simple. It just tells you whether you need some extra sleep based on your baseline and how long in general you need to sleep based on that baseline. But if I get it correctly, napping can also affect that total sleep that you need. And even your HRV balance can affect that. So let's say you do get enough sleep time, but your HRV balance isn't in good shape, that might affect how much extra rest you need to get. One other feature I'm glad they've added to this watch, well, there are two related ones. One, workout benefits, which is just the watch telling you how the workout affected your fitness, and the other one is the recovery time, so that you wouldn't start another session until you're fully recovered. Before the release of the watch, there used to be some speculations about the features of this watch. For example, since the Venu 2 Plus has an ECG feature, at least in the US, it was naturally assumed that the next Venu watch would have that feature too. But as of now, this feature isn't available. The other feature that doesn't exist on this watch is the skin temperature, which is getting more and more common on other smartwatches of similar price range or even cheaper. I have no doubt that this is a great watch with a lot of features and a 14-day battery life on paper, although mine hasn't lasted anywhere near that number, but the previous gen Venu 2 Plus was also a great watch. So if you're really in doubt, subscribe and stay tuned so I can make a comparison video of the Venu 2 Plus and Venu 3. See you in the next one.